Okay, it's time to do an install of a decoder on this Blue Box SW1200. So as you can see, we have everything wired up for a DCC install. Let's just do a quick overview. We've got a work platform. Well, we got the new motor, Rev1 motors in here, silicone drive shafts. We've got a work platform. We've got power pickup coming up from, I marked the front here is red, points to the right. That means the red wire is on the right. Here's the red wire coming up over here from both trucks onto this pad. Same with the black wire. Comes up from the trucks both onto this pad now. You look right here. This pad is divided in two sections. These two pads here go down to the motor. You check the motor. Turning to the right, it should turn the wheels forward, and it does. Okay, so then, now since this is a pad I made for a DH126D, there are three middle pieces here. Since we're using the DZ123, we're only using one light function. We're going to be using the middle as the blue in the diagram, which is a common. That's the plus wire, and on this guy, that's the blue wire. Then we're going to use the white wire on one of these. That's a minus wire, and we'll need to connect a resistor before we bring those wires to this pad. Now, normally we like to put these at the rear, so they're facing this way with the label pointing up. This time, however, because we're using a 1, 2, 3 and it's in a confined space, we're going to put it here, and we can put it upside down if we need to, or right side up. Whichever way is going to make it easiest to go. Red wire here, orange wire there, black wire here, gray wire there. That's how we're going to do it. So let's just fan this out a little bit and see what we got here. There is the blue, and orange, that's a motor, gray, that's a motor, red and black are power pickups, and here's the white and the yellows for the light functions. Okay, we're not doing directional headlights. We're doing one on-off switch kind of light. Okay, so that's how we're going to do it. Now I'm going to do, so actually we're going to be able to do this just right side up, since the red is here and the black is there and they match our stuff. We're going to go ahead, we're going to goop him right there. So let's take some goop. Let's get some nice fresh goop here. Take amazing goop, as always. And if this is the first time you've seen us do this, we use amazing goop because you can change your mind. If you don't change your mind, this goop holds the guy on there, and he holds it on there kind of like a rubber band. Put him right over the Rev1 thing. Okay, it holds it on there like a rubber band. Once that's up, it stays there. So you could pull it and it'll grab on like a rubber band. But if you really needed to get rid, if you needed to pull this out, you just pull and the goop will come off. And then goop is non-destructive. So whatever goop is anywhere, you can grab it and peel it off, kind of like a rubber band stuck to something. Okay, so that's our first stage. Now I'm going to go set this to drying station, and then we'll be ready to move on to clipping the wires and going to the next part. Okay, let's do some wire connections. Now I've already connected some of them. And what I want to do is I want to take my soldering iron, clean them, and I want to use the tip tin, which if you don't have, that's a product you probably want to get, because if you touch your soldering iron in there, you get a perfectly tin tip. Okay, I've already soldered some wires out here. I'm going to show you how. I'm going to take this red one, and I'm going to take some rosin paste is what we're using on my little screwdriver here. Touch to the end. Oops, I got solder. Need some solder. Okay, now I'm going to touch to the end and it'll melt back some of the insulation. Now let's pull. Okay, we'll do it again. Go from the side. There. Okay. Now let's make sure he's tinned. We want these guys all tinned. There. Now we got him. Okay, so now we can go ahead, put some rosin paste on the red pad right there. Oops. That blue wire does not need to be right there. Nor does he need any paste on him. Okay, now I got to get him in there without wrecking the other wires, which I did plan for earlier. Fortunately, I accidentally had something playing in the background and I forgot to shut it off, and so I had to kind of start over here. So we'll make it just like that there. Okay, he's in there. The gaps we have there, we got to build the traces with a scribing pencil so that we can make sure we aren't touching anything we're not supposed to touch. Okay, now I have trimmed these wires. The yellow one that we're not using, I only trim it back this far just in case for the future. What we got left for the blue and the white. And the way I always set this up is the blue goes on the middle of my three guys. Now, if I was making one specifically for this, there wouldn't be 3 across. There'd just be 2. One for blue, one for white. But in this case, I'm recycling one. Well, one time I made a bunch of them, and we're just going to use one of those. That was meant for a DZ123. No, that was meant for a DH126. Doesn't matter. Anyways. We're going to get him. We're going to pull him. We're going to get him again. And pull him again. Okay, now I got some exposed rosin from the side, and we got him. Okay, now we want this rosin on his pad, which is going to be this middle one. Okay. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm going to have to say that's too long. We need to trim this guy back because we still got to solder a wire down to there. That wire goes to the upstairs. That upstairs connects to our wires. So let's do that again. Let's go ahead, put a tiny bit of rosin on the end. Touch him. Pull a little bit. Touch. We're being extra careful with these guys. That's why we're using the rosin and solder and pull, and we're just repeating until we get this guy to be perfect the way we want him. He's almost there. There he is. There he is. Yeah, you can heat your fingers up that way, but in this case, we're okay. Okay. Now we want this rosin paste all over these 2 pads. Okay, we want rosin paste all over there. Now we're going to take this guy and we'll get a little bit of solder. Okay. We're going to put him down. The blue one, which is the plus wire. It's the hot lead, like on your car, it's the red wire. But for some reason, it's blue. Alright, so he's down. And we got room left to put another wire without undoing what we just did. You'll find that when you trying to solder 2 wires to a pad and that they are too close together, you'll solder one, but the other one will come undone. Okay, now we got the white one, and he's clipped back. And we're going to go ahead get some solder. Okay. Very carefully, we will get some paste right onto the end of it. And that'll expose the wire. And if we do it right, then it'll expose it enough for us to wipe some on here. And then the solder wicks in, or the rosin will wick in the solder, so that we can now take them, put them down on this pad right here. And there we go. Now we have it. That's our guy. Now I'm going to take some acetone and I'm going to clean off all that flux. But otherwise, we are wired up. That's pretty good to go. Very handy to take some of this copper-clad PCB and make these little boards to keep your wiring nice and tight and clean. That's all we were going for. So, okay. I'll start putting in the lights, and then we'll do that part separate.